Okay, so folks, going to be doing a bit about fire lighting and all the aspects around that. Let's start with the first few safety aspects. Only do it where you've got permission to do it and where it's not going to catch something you don't want lighting a light. Okay. If you're going to do it outdoors, then make sure you've got it nice and contained and you've got permission and it's going to be safe. You should also have access to water. I've got a fire bucket down here. And a first aid kit. Okay, it's just basic safety stuff. For a fire, okay, let's go back to basics here. You need three things: fuel, air, and heat. So our heat is initially going to come from a match, and then it's going to come from the small bits of wood. Okay, the air, we've left loads of air gaps in here that will allow that to catch through. Okay, fuel is obviously the wood. I'm going to be using an ultra fire. That keeps it contained. That's essentially a metal container. It's going to keep it contained, and that's going to allow me to keep it contained. If you're outdoors, you might want to clear an area, make sure there's no scrub on it, and make sure there's no dry stuff on it. Maybe even surround it with large logs or stones or something like that. Okay. There are several different types of fire you can lay. Okay, and they will more appropriate or less appropriate depending on what you're trying to do. The type of fire I'm going to be using here, I'm going to call it an ultra fire, but traditionally an ultra fire would be stacked logs piled up with a platform on top, and then you'd light the fire on the platform. That's designed to allow the fire to be at a nice height to use and for cooking. What I've actually got is a more modern version of that. I've got what was half an old oil barrel, carefully cleaned out, for much used, on a stand that's been made for the purpose, and that allowed me to raise it up off the ground and also keep it contained. Now, there are several different ways of laying a fire, and again, that's different purposes. Okay, so if you want a long, thin fire, maybe just keeping it contained and cooking on it, you lay it one way. If you're going for wanting a big fire to sit around to keep warm or just to socialise, then you're going to lay it. Okay. All these different ways of laying it have different names. The one we're going to be using today is a variation on what's called a seafood fire. Okay, so I'm going to start by laying two logs here, one either side. And what I'm going to do is build a little platform that will just raise the fire up a little bit, just with some thin wood. And some sticks that I can put over there. And what that does is means the air can come through the fire. It's very important the fire has plenty of gaps in it for air to come through. What I've got here, I've got various grades of wood. I prepared them earlier. And the first one I got is tinder. Your tinder needs to be very dry, and the definition is really anything that will light straight from a match. Okay, so I'm just making up a reasonable pile of those. And this is just going to be a loose pile to start with. So there's no real structure here, there's just a loose pile, plenty of air gap in there. Okay, I'll take some of my thinner bits of wood and I start stacking them in a sort of triangular formation, like the classic, say, Native American teepee. I'm stacking this up. So this is just building a structure that will kind of nicely lit. It will light quite easily from my tinder. So this next grade of wood is what I would call kindling. And basically, again, that's anything that will light from your tinder. Okay, and this TP shape just gives it the airflow it needs. Small bits. This is really dry wood, so I can go a bit thicker than I normally would. Normally I'd be looking for something a bit thinner, but this is really good dry wood, so it should just catch. This is your basic structure, and all I'm going to do, I'm going to slowly build that up using larger and larger pieces. So I've got these pieces, that's about the largest I'm going to go for now. Once the fire is actually going, I'm going to be wanting maybe something like that, and I'm going to layer that on bit by bit. It's important you don't just dump it all on, because then it's going to smother the fire. You can't go straight to large bits because they need a higher heat to get them going. So you want small bits that will catch easily, to then use them to light larger bits and then build that up and build that up. So I think I'm going to head and try and light this. Got the matches. So when you strike a match, you want to hold it at the end, furthest from the lighty bit. You strike it along the box, and hopefully, yay, it catches. And with this style of fire, I'm going to get right in underneath this and light my tinder. And there it goes, there's my tinder going already. And I drop the match on and just hope my tinder catches. It's sometimes tempting to try stuffing wood on at this point, but I'm just going to let it catch. Hopefully it will burn up a bit. Very careful to keep my hand out of the way of the flame. Now I don't know if it's picking it up on camera, but the flame is up here already. It's at this height. Obviously not over on this side, but at this height. Lots of patience, and don't be stingy on the amount of stuff you've got. Tip I've been given about lighting fires, or collecting wood for fires, is collect as much as you need, and then go and do it again. So this fire is starting to catch a bit now. You can see the tinder is still burning, but the kindling has started to catch now. And in fact, it's burning. It's burning away. So it's important not to lose it at this point, not to let it go once you've got it burning. If you just leave it now, it's going to go out. It's going to burn itself out. Once you've got it burning a certain size of wood, don't go back down to a smaller one. It loses the heat. The bigger bits give out more heat, but they're harder to light. So you don't want to put the heat they're giving out into just flaming away small bits. So what you didn't see while we were indoors is I put some larger logs on. Once they got going, which happened very rapidly, they just burnt down, and they went down to red glowing embers.
And that's how you lay and light a fire, which I hope you found useful. I hope you've enjoyed this little video. Thanks for watching.